In January 2019, 29-year-old Elizabeth "Liz" Barraza was getting ready for an exciting upcoming trip with her husband. The couple lived in Tomball, Texas, a smaller town located about 40 minutes northwest of Houston. Tomball is generally a quiet place with lower crime rates. The couple had lived in their home in the Princeton Place subdivision for about 3 years. By all accounts, the couple had a great relationship. They were really happy. Liz and Sergio had met in college and married in 2014. Liz had a job as a data reporter and Sergio worked with his father installing flooring. And they were really looking forward to this upcoming trip. They were planning to leave for Orlando, Florida on January 27th to celebrate their 5-year wedding anniversary. They were going to visit Universal Studios and Disney. They were both really big into numerous franchises like Star Wars and Harry Potter. So this trip was like a dream come true for them. In anticipation for their vacation, Liz wanted to make some extra money for their travels, for souvenirs and anything else a couple wanted to purchase during their adventures. So they came up with an idea to have a garage sale at their home. The couple went through their things, picked out some items they no longer wanted, and got everything ready for the garage sale. This seemed like a great way to make some extra cash quickly. The night before, on January 24th, Liz and Sergio put out neighborhood signs announcing the sale, hoping to get some traffic from others living in the area. Now, this garage sale wasn't advertised on Liz's social media or any big platform really. It was going to be smaller and low-key. On the morning of January 25th, Liz woke up early, she had taken the day off work, and was eager to get the garage sale set up. She drove up to Starbucks, grabbed herself a coffee, got back around 6:15 a.m., and Liz and Sergio began arranging items outside in the driveway. She was hoping some shoppers would want to get there early, so she was going to be all ready. Sergio helped set up a bit before he had to get ready to head off to work for the day. Sergio left their house at 6:48 a.m. as Liz continued to set up the sale in their driveway. Surveillance footage from that morning gives us a visual of the entire scene, both from Liz's doorbell cam and an across-the-street neighbor's surveillance. And we see, 4 minutes after Sergio leaves, a truck pulls up in front of Liz's house, parking behind her car. Then, an unknown individual exits the vehicle while leaving it running. This person walks straight up towards Liz, up the driveway at 6:52 a.m., and approaches her, wearing what looks to be a robe or a jacket and boots. Liz's doorbell video captures faint audio, believed to be Liz saying good morning, welcoming what she most likely believed was her first customer of the day. Then, everything shifts. There's muffled conversation between Liz and this unknown individual for about 6 seconds. Liz reacts, scared, and then there's a series of 4 gunshots. The unknown individual sprints back to their vehicle, and then the truck speeds off. Some concerned neighbors called 911 to report gunshots, and Harris County constables were the first to respond to the scene. Liz was rushed to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston and died the next day. Detectives began their investigation and initially stated that since this murder was on tape, this case would likely be solved in a matter of days. Investigators pored over the surveillance footage and stated that the killer shot Liz 3 times in the chest, and then after she fell over, the killer stood over her and delivered a final shot to the head. Police believe this was a targeted murder and also stated that the killer took nothing from the scene, so this was not any kind of robbery. Then, what was the motive here? Police were working overtime to determine what that was, but they believed that this was not a case of mistaken identity, this was deliberate. Investigators also initially believed that the shooter was a woman, but was wearing a disguise. One investigator said the killer appeared to be wearing go-go boots, a muumuu dress, and a wig. But in all honesty, it's hard to make out anything about the shooter. Others believe it's a man in disguise. The vehicle the killer was driving was a 2013 or newer black Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Detectives see that this truck was seen driving past Liz and Sergio's house at 2 a.m., mere hours before the murder. Scoping out the place, Surveillance from a local school parking lot near Liz and Sergio's house shows minutes before the murder the killer's truck pulling into the parking lot and sitting there. Detectives said the killer was waiting there for Sergio to leave. This truck was also spotted on surveillance driving past the scene of the murder just after the killing as well. Police said they believed that this was the killer driving past one more time to make sure that Liz was deceased. So, what about this truck? When questioned, none of Liz's neighbors ever said they had seen that car in the neighborhood before. They didn't recognize it. In November 2022, investigators confirmed for the first time that the gun used in the killing was a revolver. But other than this, there has been really no movement in the case. So Liz's killer is still out there, walking freely. Now, Liz's family has no idea why anyone would do this. Liz had no enemies. She was beloved by her family, who called her an amazing, giving young woman. One of her pastimes was dressing up in costumes and visiting children's hospitals. Liz also helped raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Who would do this? Many were laser focused on Sergio, Liz's husband. Some found it coincidental that he left the house just mere minutes before she was murdered. But police combed through both Liz and Sergio's phones and found no evidence of any issues in the marriage. No proof of any affairs, no prior threats to either one of them. Sergio has said that he knows a lot of people see him as the #1 suspect, but says he has done nothing but cooperate with investigators and wants this case solved. Sergio said he has only watched the surveillance footage from the murder one time to see if he could recognize the killer, but said that he doesn't. He also said that he really thought that they would have caught the killer by now and said it's mind-boggling how in this day and age, the killer has not been apprehended. Speculation and online rumors also swirled after Sergio got remarried only 2 years after his wife's savage murder. Sergio said that he met his new wife, Amber, about a year and a half after Liz's murder. He said that Amber had lost her sister and they just connected. But there's really no evidence that Sergio was involved in this in any way. One big question many are asking, besides Liz and Sergio, who else knew about this garage sale? Sergio said only a few people knew, including a few of Liz's coworkers, Liz's parents, and Sergio's mother. But that was it. Since her murder, Liz's family has been pleading for help in identifying her killer, even launching a website with all the information on the case, including a complete timeline of that morning. Police have never identified any suspects, but all these years later, Liz's parents still hold on to hope that their daughter's murderer will be found. Justice will be served. And they said the days since their daughter was killed have been filled with anguish. So, who killed Liz Barraza in cold blood? And years later, how has this murderer never been identified? If you have any information on this case, Crime Stoppers may pay up to $50,000 for information leading to the identification of the killer. Tips can be reported online or call 713-222-TIPS. What are your thoughts on this unsolved case? Having heard and seen the surveillance footage, what sticks out to you? Liz and her loved ones deserve justice. Let me know what you think in the comments.